John, I've been following you for a very long time, but this is the first time that we actually meet in person here at Castlefest. And what I know you from is that you have the biggest Facebook group of the Netherlands dedicated to fantasy and sci-fi.
That's true. Even every day when I wake up, I must think about myself, wow, I'm now growing that big that I'm one of the largest book communities in the Netherlands.
What do people do in that Facebook group? What kind of group is it?
It's the major part is talking about books. That people say, oh, about this book, or I see this book, this is how I like it. And from my part, I'm making reviews about books that I think they are interesting and to read. But also the writers have a platform that they can say, hey, I have written a book. Maybe this is interesting for you guys and to show the public what there is.
And that's actually a great thing that you offer because the market in the Netherlands for fantasy and science fiction is rather small. People read a lot of English books, but for you, it's important to also highlight the Dutch storytellers, right?
Indeed. And the strangest thing about the Dutch market is, if you're talking about sci-fi, publishers don't pronounce it as sci-fi, but there are a lot of books in the shop which are lying there and has a sci-fi element, but they're not putting it as sci-fi because it's not sellable.
And of course, what you are highlighting with your Facebook group is we're not talking about a small group of people that like this. This is becoming very mainstream.
Indeed, and it's sci-fi is very large, but also the fantasy is very large. And with my group, I wanted to show what is fantasy and SF in an adult segment, because a lot of people think about, and I understand, oh, SF and fantasy, it's for kids, it's for teenagers, but a lot of grown-ups like me enjoying from good sci-fi and fantasy.
Well, and here today at Castlefest, we're surrounded by more than 50,000 adult fantasy fans.
And that says something. It's for the first time that it's also sold out. So it must say something that people are interested about.
Tell me how this got started. When in your life and where were you in your life when you felt called to do this?
It was around 2016. I was at that time very active in politic party and with union, and it came all together. And at that moment, I got a burnout, and I was thinking about myself because after a burnout, you must learn who are you, what do you like, and I was thinking, what makes me happy, what gives me energy, and I thought by myself, reading. That was very easy, but at that moment, I thought I'm gonna search for books that are like easy to step into. Uh, and then, of course, you go for the Dutch language because then that language you know. But then I was thinking by myself, hey, where are those books from the Dutch writers? And I was scrolling on the internet and I came by accident by the site of Castlefest. So I went there and I was speaking with writers, but also readers and publishers. And I thought by myself, hey, wait a minute, I'm used to organize things because I was used in my function as politic. I thought by myself, hey, why do I do it myself? Why don't I make a Facebook group?
And now you are, in fact, the biggest fantasy science fiction influencer.
It's in my personality, I don't see myself as important or influencer, but sometimes I must smile when people recognize me. Hey, you're that guy from. Oh, yeah, yeah.
Now, of course, I have to ask you because you've read a lot and reading is in your blood because you told me that your mother introduced you to reading. What are some of your favorite stories? What kind of books do you love to read?
Oh, that's a good question. If I'm looking at the Dutch part, I like one good writer, Garvin Pauw. It's from Gordijn Publishing, and he has a whole world. It's so big that he, I must say it, he wrote a lot of ideas for at least 18 books. They are not all published yet, but when you're reading that, it's like you close your eyes and you go on an adventure. And I have a second good writer, Kim Tusher, and she makes me think about myself and the world around me. I must make choices.
And that, of course, it helps us to be involved in the book. If it's also something that we can recognize ourselves in, what are some of the things that reading has taught you or has brought you in your personal life?
Well, it has taught me, maybe I say it's strange, after my burnout, I was learning how to see positive things. And it's, in society nowadays, people are looking always to the positive. And I understand that, but it's, in my opinion, it's a wrong way. You have sometimes also bad parts in your life. And fantasy and SF learned me that when you are going through your life, you have sometimes also bad things. And also the persons in the books experience sometimes also bad things. And it's a part of life. So it learned me to accept, yeah, bad things happening sometimes.
Which I can imagine is also comforting after having gone through a burnout.
If I can say, it maybe sounds strange, but burnout was one of the best parts that ever happened to me. If I look back, it makes me the person how I am today.
Have you ever thought of telling your own stories because you love reading? Is there a writer somewhere in you?
Not particularly like writing stories, but sometimes I'm writing poems. If I want to write thoughts about, inside my head and on paper, and it gives me a lot of peace. And it was a funny anecdote when I was on therapy, written a poem, and the therapist read that and he said, "Wow, that's kind of beautiful. Let's talk about the poem you've written."
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. But poetry can also allow you to sometimes say things without saying them or without spelling them out, right?
True, true, indeed. Yeah.
Yeah. Lovely. Where do you think this community is going in the future?
Wow, it's a good question. We're now, it's a funny story. Last year we grown from 2,500 members to 5,000, so that was very quickly growing. And now we're at the point that we're not only doing a lot of online, we're going also to do a lot of activities offline, also extra. And then we go now every few weeks, we go with a lot of members to a city and we come together, go to bookshops, drink a little bit, and enjoy from books.
I love that because it is more than just an online community now. People are starting to get to know each other. They meet each other, which is what a lot of people criticize of Facebook and other social media. It's all digital, but you're seeing a trend towards more physical interaction as well.
Yeah, true. Even in the description of my Facebook group, I said also I want that my group is like a living room that people come together and yeah go later on with their travel, but they are welcome in my living room. And from that point, we start with the great adventures.
I love that analogy, and I think you're doing a terrific job. Thank you so much for being kind of the godfather of this living room and this family that you create. And I'm looking forward to see what this is going to be a few years from now.
Yeah, me too. I'm very curious how it goes. I do my best, and we'll see.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.